Shouts out Big Steve.
Shout out Michael Bisbin. Welcome to the PFL Big Brain MMA breakdown. We break these fights down to try and profit some cash, aiming to make it 3 profitable events in a row. 1.5 thousand up, 3 units. We won't force anything though. It's been a tough card, honestly, in my opinion. Discipline and some props, hopefully tomorrow. A little bit late this one, that's on me. I waited because usually there's so many fights that fall off in PFL. I didn't want to waste my time and other people's time. So this is the final card, providing nothing falls off tomorrow. But let's not waste any more time, right? Time is money. Let's get into it. Let's break this card down. So the first fight, we have Watley versus Caruso. Caruso is short notice. Watley's been on this card for a while. Only just found this opponent. I'll be honest, I don't know Watley one bit. I didn't want to tape him until they found the replacement opponent for him. I know Caruso from PFL Challenger Series, and he's not bad at all. He's a big underdog here. I get it. Well, I don't really get it because I don't know how good Watley really is. But yeah, I won't waste your time. It's going to be dog or pass. Watley doesn't seem like a CFFC guy. Doesn't seem like someone that I would parlay per se. Let's move on. Aaron Jeffrey, Murad Ramazanov. This one as well. Didn't go too in depth, right? I pick him. I liked Ramazanov. I think it is a levels fight compared to Aaron Jeffrey. He's moving up to middleweight. Now that a lot of money is coming on him, I know some sharps that are on the other side, playing Aaron Jeffrey as an underdog. And I get it. There could be a size and cardio aspect for Jeffrey. He's fought a bunch of grapplers, Andrei Petrosky in the UFC, Kaya Bohayo, Rex Harris. I think that was a title fight, correct? John Salter beat him. He knocked out Austin Vanderford. Fabio Aguilar tried to grapple him. Dalton Roster. He's seen this challenge many, many times, but Murad could be different. So again, don't want to waste too much time until I go more in depth. Will I go in depth? Not too sure on this fight in particular. A lot of boring fights in my opinion. In terms of the totals, they favor the over at minus 200. Wow, very juicy. Right, let's move on. Brett Primus versus Vincius Sensul. Another short notice fight. Primus was meant to be on the card the whole time, rematching Shabley. I don't understand that. Bellator was all right with their matchmaking, and now since PFL has taken over, everyone is rematching everyone. They couldn't pair Primus with anyone else other than Shabley, who already knocked him out. And by the way, if Josh Silveira wins, and if Impa Kasanganay wins, they're fighting for the third time in the next round. I don't understand what PFL is doing, honestly. But anyway, back to this fight. Right, Sensul doesn't really look that good. He doesn't have any good wins, and his losses are not great either. Lost on Contender Series to Sam Patterson, which is aging okay. He fought this Enchala guy in UAE Warriors, who is not good. Again, Enchala is not good either. No good wins, no good losses. And it was a split, and he got hurt with the first punch and held up against the cage and taken down with ease. So I do think Brett Primus will have a massive grappling edge in this one. But the man is 40 years old. He's a massive favorite. Not my kind of parlay piece. And the under is set at 1.5 rounds, which is quite annoying. All right, they set it at Pick'em as well, which, Sensi almost made it to round 3 against Sam Patterson and was submitted late in round 2. Is Primus a better submission grappler than Patterson? Maybe it's arguable. At 40 years of age, he's definitely slowing down a bit. He's more chinny. And Cersei hurt Patterson in round 1, so he might have a little bit of KO upside. Primus has a bit of KO upside. He has underrated power, and he's got submission upside. But I can't really cap this fight in terms of a total perspective. I don't know how long it's going to go. I don't know if Primus will be able to hit takedowns. I don't know if he'll be able to get to the back if he does hit the takedown. So pass fight all around for me. Mike Shipman versus Joshua Silveira. Silveira dropping down to his natural weight class finally. All right, middleweight. This man has wins at heavyweight and light heavyweight, which is pretty impressive. It's a bit like his arch nemesis, Impa Kasanganay. He's a decent-sized favorite here. Obviously not sure how I feel about that. I think, he's much more proven than someone like Shipman. Shipman's a little bit chinny. He's a grinder with not much finishing upside. he's taken a step down in competition, and he fought 3 bums in a row: Charlie Ward, Stephen Hill, and Abdul Bassett, and he's finished 2 of them, and he couldn't finish Charlie Ward. Before that, knocked out by Gregory Babian, split to Fabian Edwards, which is more of a reflection on Fabian Edwards than anything, and got knocked out by Castano Mastinis. Yeah, I mean, he's all right. He's got some volume about him. He's in and out, but he just slows down, and he's a bit chinny. What I lean in this fight is Josh Silveira inside the distance. No, I think he's very, very durable. So when the props open up tomorrow, I'll have a look what his inside the distance is. If it's not much different than the under 2.5, which currently, let me have a look. Actually, yeah, the over is taking some steam. So the under 2.5 is not bad. But at $1.40, you would like to imagine that Josh Silveira inside the distance would be plus money, right? He hasn't finished Rob Wilkinson, Impa Kasanganay twice. He basically just finishes bums. So, but I think he could finish Mike Shipman. So hopefully there's a good KO line or good submission line, because he has a really good rear naked choke, and he's got underrated power. He has a really good head kick. So that's where I'm leaning. But I know the dog is quite popular for some reason. Daniel Mofo, MOB. What does that mean, my friend? NTT, Silveira sub will be juicy. Yeah, I can't really put a thing on it. Do I want to go sub or do I want to go KO? Basically, 1, 2, 3. Last 3 finishes are KO. All right. Money over beaches. That is such a dogfather motto. All right, let's move on. Clay Collard, Alfie Davis. Look, to me, this is Alfie Davis by decision or nothing. I know people are saying Clay's going to pressure, he's going to be aggressive, he's going to come on, but Alfie has fought this title matchup before where he sticks and moves on the outside. So, and people are pressuring him. He's got some okay wins. Alan Cruz, Thibault Gotti was extremely heavy on the pressure. Oscar Onswell, whatever. Mansu Banui was even more pressure heavy, but that guy, has a whole grappling upside to him. So, I don't know, man. Clay Collard is so one-dimensional. What is he? Lost 4 of his last 5, with his win being a wash for tricky people. Yeah. Obviously, a lot of them have grappling involved. Alfie Davis can grapple, but he doesn't really use it. Yeah, it's a dog or pass, but I don't really want to play Alfie Davis's money line when, his decision's probably going to be $1 better. What's the over? Disgusting over. Clay Collard is taking steam. So I will say fading the steam on PFL has been good. Nathan Kelly's team. Last week there was some. The Russian chick's team against the Brazilian Dana. So maybe people are just not reading these fights well. The casuals. All right, let's move on. Mads Burnell, JJ Wilson. I think JJ Wilson here. I'm not really a Mads guy. He's a bit underwhelming, especially up at lightweight. Pardon me. And losing to Pedro Carvalho, getting finished by Marshall Dufour. I faded him there. I did not expect the finish, I'll be honest. I think that was the first time he was... No, it's not the first time he was subbed. It was actually subbed by Arnold Allen and by Michel Prazeres in the UFC. That was on short notice, upper weight class. So the man can be finished. That just gives me my confirmation bias, because I like the under. I feel like the under correlates with JJ Wilson. This guy was almost the first man to submit and finish Mansour Banui. In round 3, he had a fully locked in armbar, and Banui refused to tap. Had some really deep submissions of Vladimir Tolkov as well. Like, these Russians, daggies, don't really get subbed. And they were deep. He also has power as well. He might be able to hurt Bernal, who has no defense. High guard, plods into the pocket and just eats everything and looks to counter. So hopefully the JJ Wilson sub is not trash. But I mean, look at this. He hasn't had a sub 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In his last 6 fights, he hasn't had a sub. So hopefully we get a good price on that. That's how I'm leaning. Otherwise, the under 2.5, what's it at right now? There's been some action on everything recently. $3.10. Otherwise, just hit that. Or it doesn't go. It doesn't go because he almost hit the armbar in the last minute against old mate Banui. So I wouldn't want to be upset I wouldn't want the under to not hit and then it doesn't go. NTT, Alfie Leg Kick Clinic. Could very well be the case. Could very well be the case. NTT, what's the locks, my friend? What's the locks? Dalton Roster versus Sadibu C. This screams a pick'em kind of fight, right? Sadibu C back at his, I'm not going to say his natural weight class of 185 because he has made welterweight quite easily many times. If you grapple Sadibu C, he's going to do quite well against the cage with his takedown defense, and he's going to outstrike you on the outside. Really good jabber and body kicker, super long. Occasionally, he'll land a spinning wheel kick or a body kick. I don't know. Dalton Roster kind of seems a bit flaky to me, but his win over Norbert Noveni Jr., as much as it was a minus EV cage humping decision, he's still aging well, and lost to Aaron Jeffrey 29-28. I would rather play him, honestly. I feel like he's athletic, explosive. He's got power. He's fast. He can get takedowns, maybe. And he's 29, as opposed to Sadibu C, at 38. But he's still getting wins out there. The Carlos Leal aged quite well. Delano Taylor aged well. Carlos Leal ×2. Yeah, I mean, it's Dalton Roster or pass for me. Sadibu C, these last few, Magomed, Kerimov, Josh Silvera means nothing. And Andrew Sanchez looked a bit washed there, but light heavyweight fight. So, yeah. Dalton Roster or pass, but it just, I don't know if I'm getting any value. All right, NTT has JJ and Silvera under 2.5 rounds. Only thing that stands out, JJ inside the distance isn't bad. Like you said, all books have main card props out about 12 hours. Indeed. 12 hours, isn't that? They're really waiting long for this one. No UFC either. I don't know what the holdup is. All right, Gadzi Rabadanov, Mark Diakasi. What do I say about this fight? Gadzi, I'm not the one to fade Gadzi. He can be a little bit close. He can fight close in some of his fights, but this guy is a winner. He'll win like most of his fights. He's got wins over JJ Wilson, Elvin Espinoza, killed Michel Defort, and killed Brent Primus. So he's just good everywhere, right? Is Mark Diakasi nothing but a grinder these days? And is he going to outgrind someone like Gadzi? I don't really see it. Like, who's the best person he grinded out? Kai Fernandez, the decision, which is kind of aging okay now because Kai is doing his thing in the UFC. I don't see it, but I don't even want to parlay, Gadzi at this line. It's disgusting. Could he be not the first person to knock out old mate, but could he? Could he hurt him? Could he hurt him then club and sub? Maybe. I don't know. What's Gadzi's decision? I wouldn't have props yet. It's probably going to be like minus 200, something disgusting. If the total is what? The total is a little bit better. Alrighty. And we're at the main event already. Not even 15 minutes, but that is the state of this PFL card and only 9 fights. So what can you do? Impa Kasanganay and Fabian Edwards. So this is the one that I'm the closest to locking in a play. Right, a lot of money is coming on Fabian Edwards. He was plus 150. Impa was minus 200. I wasn't really interested. I get it. Impa is good, but as much as you want to hate Edwards, he's not bad. He's very fast. He's very fast. He had competitive minutes with the current champion Johnny Eblen twice. The first time he was finished. Second time he was competitive all the way till the end. I think he lost 3 rounds to 2. Could have done a little bit better. I think his takedown defense is quite good. It's improved. He beat Aaron Jeffrey in terms of damage versus control. He beat Awash Gegard Musasi. He was a big underdog there. Let me double check. Plus 210, $3.10, not bad. And he's got power as well, just like his brother, but he just doesn't sit on his punches as much as he should. So he's definitely going to be sharper, quicker, and better footwork than Impa. Impa, I didn't realize how slow Impa is. Watching Impa's last few fights, right? Polizzi, Jacob Endo, Josh Silvera 1 and 2. he's just so slow. So slow. He's just plodding in there, looking to throw overhands. He gets hit a lot, and that cost him against Yakshimuradov. But generally, really, really good chin. And he just keeps coming, and he plows through, and he does more damage with his own hooks. Right? He's a big ape. Right? Massive, massive ape. So I don't know if he's going to cover at minus money with that game plan. As I said, Edwards has a path to stick and move. Right? He fought Johnny Eblam twice, who is the same archetype, an ape. But Impa down at middleweight, surely he should be a little bit faster. These guys that are hurting him, Yashimuradov and Jacob Endo, that's a light heavyweight. He's still not getting knocked out by light heavyweights, so it should be much better at this price. But I don't know. It's moved again. He was $1.80, now he's $1.70. Don't know what to make of this fight. It seems competitive, but my gut is saying Impa's just going to win. Right, as simple as that. Can he knock him out? I think he can. Literally, Fabian has like one knockout loss to Johnny Eblam, and that's it. I don't even have a good read on his chin. I might have to tape him some more, but I really hate taping Fabian Edwards. Just boring as all hell, man. Boring as all hell. But that's it. Another juiced over as well. That's the state of this card. AWMD. I want to bet Fabian. I mean, the line has gone by quite a bit, but maybe you can bet Fabian by decision. All right, that's his path. All right, let's go over the card. Do a little recap of what I'm the closest betting on, and then we'll get out of here. The first two fights, nothing. Primus, nothing. Honestly, if I was going to bet something, it would be Sensul. It would be the under 1.5. But I'll wait for the props to open up and see what the doesn't start round 3 is. I feel like Primus is both live for a KO or submission, and I think Sensi is live for a KO. So it might be late in round 2. So I'll wait to see what rounds 1 and 2 is. Josh Silveira, Shipman, I'm leaning Silveira inside the distance. I'll see what the props are. If it's any better than the minus 2.5 rounds, Collard, Davis, Aline Davis decision, Burnell, JJ Wilson. I'll be poking some JJ Wilson submission. Hopefully it's generous. Delta and Roster Sadabasi feels like there is not much value on either side, but I lean Roster, gun to my head. Gadzi decision. It's going to be trash, so probably nothing. And Impa will pass for me, but it's a hard click. It was hard click at minus 200. It's still a hard click. So that's where we're at. No bets, but there'll be a few bets, right? Every single week I played some bets. So hopefully you can take my leans and cash them in at the bank. Alrighty. Like and subscribe. I'm going to tackle some other regionals. Oh, by the way, I was going to give you a regional bet, but I realized it was PFL and it's gone. All right. Peace out. Like and subscribe, and thank you. Oh, here we go. Piazza DFS. Just caught the end of the stream. Good luck on the bets. Thank you, Piazza. Good luck to you as well. All right. Peace out.